Hey there everybody, it's me, Hology, where today I'm going to be showing you Minecraft snapshot 18w07a, which was just released today by Mojang, just in time for Valentine's Day, the perfect gift for all Minecrafters eagerly awaiting to see what's going to be added in the upcoming aquatic update. You can already see many of the new things that have been added in the snapshot. There are quite a few new blocks and features that are going to be really fun for Minecrafters to play around with. Although, I will warn you, do not use worlds that are important to you, like your main survival world or anything like that, because these builds still are a little bit unstable. These snapshots are still a little unstable, so you might run into some problems and your worlds might get corrupted. So I reserve this to just testing out in special creative or new survival worlds you create specifically for these snapshots. So yeah, just a little bit of a disclaimer so no one's crying over lost bases or anything like that. So as you can see, one of the first new things that I'm going to show you is the new kelp. It is everywhere on the ocean floor, absolutely everywhere. In fact, it's sort of freaking out my computer a little bit. I was running into some really weird chunk rendering issues just a moment ago. Hopefully we don't encounter too many of those during this video because they make things really hard. Let me set the time. Make it really hard to see. But yeah, there's kelp as well as seagrass. So the kelp grows to be really, really tall, as you can see here, while the seagrass is just sort of like normal Minecraft tall grass. It can be either 1 or 2 blocks tall. Of course, if you break the kelp, just like sugarcane at the base, you get, well, I can't break it with a sword, you get all of the drops, the kelp items from the thing. Or maybe not in creative. Okay, there you go. Got a few of the kelp items, which items now, okay, that's the reason why. Items now in Minecraft will float to the top of the water. So those kelps that I were destroying, I wasn't getting them because they're floating to the surface. I imagine this might be a little problematic for some people's redstone machines. However, I think it's a good change, because if I feel like the items that are dropped from a distance, they do fall through the water, but then they slowly sort of like rise back up if there's nothing in its way. So I don't think that this is going to be too much of an issue for redstone, but I think it makes sense. You know, things float on water. They don't all sink. Maybe in the future some advanced mechanics for like heavy items like prismarine would sink, but lighter items would float. But I feel like that'd be complicated to code. So just my observations. Also, it has been stated that the kelp and the seagrass currently spawn everywhere on the ocean floor, but this will change eventually as well. So they won't be everywhere, just in specific places. Oh, wait, before I throw that out, actually, the kelp item can be smelted in a furnace. So if I get a furnace, I can't spell anything today, put it in, it can be smelted into dried kelp, which will take some time, but I have the item displayed over here. Never mind, I don't. Dried kelp, which can be eaten as a food item, which is interesting. And these dried kelp items can also be crafted into dried kelp blocks. I'm not sure what exactly these would be useful for, because they look hideous, sort of like hay bales, but all items in Minecraft seem to have compact block forms, so I am not against this. Here's your dried kelp. Which is useful. The items also look pretty neat in the item frames as well. Some more new blocks we have are, of course, the new prismarine slabs and prismarine stairs that you've probably already seen, because I've been flying around this island non-stop. What's nice, though, about the stairs and the slabs is that they don't obstruct the water anymore as well. So you can place them freely under the water without having to worry about, like, let's say, how the fence post works, where water renders around the sides and looks hideous like this. They look quite nice now. Let's see, has glass been fixed? Yes, glass has been fixed now too, up to, it seems, a certain distance below the water, so underwater bases will now be a lot nicer looking. Okay, maybe it is a little bit glitchy right now, but they'll eventually be a lot nicer looking, where you can actually see through things, instead of having water rendering around the sides of all your slabs, stairs, and glasses. And you can see I have some logs laid out along this beach right here. Why do I have that done? Well, there are now new forms of logs, in addition to rotated logs and barks and all that kind of stuff. So, if you right-click logs with an X, you strip it of its bark. So you have stripped logs. At first, I wasn't completely sure why Mojang added this. Like, why would it be useful for you to strip logs of their bark? And this, albeit this is a really nice new block. It doesn't tile super well, but it tiles nicely, I think. You know, not all blocks have to be a perfectly smooth connection. I think this would be nice for some, like, wood paneling or an extra option for wooden builds. But then it dawned on me, okay, wait. So you're able to strip logs of their bark so that you can eventually collect bark and craft bark blocks in survival mode. Now, currently, you can't do this, but I'm completely hypothesizing that in a future snapshot, Mojang will add bark items. And then you can use the bark items that you get from stripping logs of their bark, I'm saying bark way too many times, to craft the bark block in survival mode. Now that, I am not opposed to. I am such a problem solver. I know exactly what Mojang's doing. PM me. I'll pay you money to predict the future. Okay. Yeah. The next thing, and the final thing, well, actually, no, never mind. I have some other things to show later. The next thing I'm going to show is the Trident. People have been very excited about this item since it was first announced because it looks amazing. Look at that. No other item in the game looks like this when you're holding it. That is awesome. Geez, it blends in really nicely with the rest of the Prism Rain as well. Look at that aesthetic matching look. But yeah, they work just like they demonstrated. They work very well, actually. You pull back on them with a right click, just like you would with a bow, and release. And you throw it. Unfortunately, you have to go all the way over there to get it back. If I was in survival mode, game mode survival, if I throw it over here, it's gone. I have to go and pick it up. And it can be used for attacking things, like this zombie. Although supposedly it is more effective underwater. Okay, you know what? Let's do this for now. I don't want to die. But yeah, they're really neat, like that. They can also be enchanted with 4 new enchantments: Loyalty, Impaling, Riptide, and Channeling, which are all amazing. I have only 1 enchantment for each one right now, but you can supposedly combine them to make an ultra-amazing Trident. Loyalty is the enchantment you saw where if you throw it, unlike that other Trident over there, it will come back to you, which is cool. So you don't have to go and collect it. The next enchantment that's added is Impaling, which is basically, let me get a Guardian, which makes the Trident much stronger for undersea mobs. So let me get a normal Trident so we can compare, trying to kill this Guardian. Let me put him in a little cage so he can't escape. Cheaty, I know, but whatever. A normal, well, an impaling one. Let's see, 2 hits to kill him with that. With a normal Trident, oh shoot, okay, come on, come back here. 2, so more than 2 basically. 3, 4, yeah, so it makes it considerably more damaging. Interestingly, when you look at them in the inventory, it doesn't change the attack damage value, so you have to sort of test it out for yourself to see how strong it is. The next enchantment that was added is Riptide, which, if we go back into the water like I demonstrated with the swimming earlier, if you throw it while you're in the water, it propels you forward towards the Trident that you threw, which makes it so that you can swim super fast in the water now. However, you do still have to pick the Trident up, so keep that in mind. Don't want to drag yourself down to the ocean floor and lose your Trident. And the final enchantment is Channeling. There is no information as to what this enchantment does. I've been trying to figure it out, but I can't tell, honestly. So, yeah. Before I move on, also, I forgot to mention squids. Wait, did I mention this? Squids now shoot ink at you when you attack them, if you saw that. Ink cloud right there. They also swim really fast now when you attack them. their getaway move right there. Yeah, they're going to be really hard to kill in survival mode now that they swim that quickly. Which, I don't know how I feel about that. The zinc sacks are already very hard to acquire, so yeah, we'll see. Alright, so the moment you've all been waiting for, new mobs. The mob that was announced back at Minecon, the Phantom, a very controversial thing, has finally been added. So if I go ahead and spawn this guy on top of this tree right here, they're flying mobs. And they fly throughout the sky and will supposedly attack you when you haven't slept in a bed for too long. They'll spawn high up in the sky, and they'll also spawn in the end. Some people think that this is an unfriendly mechanic, but other people think that it's fine. However, the mechanics for this and how they work hasn't been completely worked out yet, so they right now just sort of float around and will attack you, but we'll see how they evolve in the future. The next mob that's been added, the one that everyone's been waiting for, the turtle. They will currently spawn on sandy beaches. Like over here, you can see there's a couple turtles that spawned on their own. But in the future, they will be, just like the kelp, limited to spawning in specific designated locations. Perhaps a new biome. Don't take my word for that. But, as you can see, they will slowly move across the sand and swim in the water. They are said to return to the spot where they spawned in the future to their eggs and lay eggs. The eggs will also eventually hatch, although I don't think that works right now, into baby turtles. They are so small and so adorable. They, I think, are the most detailed mob in the game, actually, given the fact that they're so small. The pixel resolution makes them very detailed looking, and they swim into the ocean just like you'd expect, and they'll eventually grow up into adult turtles. But yeah, they are adorable. Look at them. This is what everyone's been waiting for. And if you, of course, kill the turtles, you will get turtle shell pieces, which can be crafted, like these are like the little octagons in the turtle shell, into a full turtle shell, which you can wear as a helmet, which is interesting. Look at the new aquatic armor set, the helmet and the trident. When you go into the water with the helmet, you have water breathing, which is really useful, sort of like an eternal water breathing that you don't have to put on your normal helmet. You can have a special designated turtle shell helmet for those tasks. And of course, the turtles will lay eggs on the beaches that can be clustered into pairs of up to 4 eggs in one block, which is amazing. Oh, yeah, and one last thing that I forgot to mention, the infamous bubble column that was mentioned back at Minecon has now been added. If you go ahead and place a magma block under the water, bubble columns will be spawned as such. They have been a little problematic for me. Sometimes the bubbles do render it, sometimes they don't. But if I go into, I cannot spell, game mode, it's not spectator, survival, they will suck you down to the bottom and kill you, because magma blocks incur damage. Interestingly, the bubbles keep your air meter full, so you won't drown in the bubble columns, which I don't know if I agree with, because if I was sucked to the bottom of the ocean in a stream of bubbles, reducing the buoyancy of my body, I think I would still drown in the bubbles. But I guess this would have its uses in like mob farms and in underwater elevators that quickly get you down to the bottom of the ocean. Alright, so that's all of the major new features I have to show you here in Minecraft Snapshot 18w07a. If there's anything else that you'd like to point out, or if you liked or enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Thank you, goodbye.